Hey guys, it's Angel. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're taking a look at the brand new Cowansim H130 or the EC130. Now we'll look it off this ready to fly screen, although for some reason for once it's actually behaving itself and not showing us a building. So we'll just get off there and we'll go take a look at the outside of the helicopter for a second whilst we get ready to do this. So this aircraft is now of course the Airbus one, used to be the Eurocopter EC, now the Airbus H130. Single engine light utility developed from the earlier AS350 or the H125, also Cowansim do. Primary change, of course, the adoption of a fenestrine anti-torque device in place of a conventional tail rotor, that is that ducted tail fan there. Still works the same way in principle, you have to basically do that, and apparently I was still connected to Discord, so let me correct that for a second, because apparently, you know, I can't have nice things. Either way, this first flew in 2001, first flight 1999, but introduced 2001. 700 have been produced in this time period, and the aircraft, in terms of its specifications, and this is for a T2 model, has a cruise speed of 128 knots, VNE of 155, range of 327 nautical miles, endurance of 4 hours, hover ceiling of 11,200. And that's, I don't understand the difference in these terms of IGE, OGE. Reading it off a list as I talk to you right now. I'm guessing there'll be some elements in terms of loading in that. Rate of climb 9 meters a second. So it's powered by a turbo mecha, now Safran helicopter engines, Arrow 2D turbo shaft, producing 950 horsepower. Rotor diameters 10.69 meters. Nice. Or 35 feet and 1 inch. In freedom fractions. Okay, so what we got from Cowansim here is a typical Cowansim release in terms of its functions and features. They have a full manual and checklist in there as well, and all the usual Cowansim things work. We've gotten everything we'd expect from a Cowansim version 2.0 aircraft from the start in this one. So in terms of our avionics customization, the different process of using how they, I should say, use the collective now and how they actually do that simulation. So that is included in the aircraft. And here's a look at a bunch of the liveries that are included in the aircraft. There's quite a lot, as you can see. That's a Cowansim Classic there. And as you'll notice, we come back here to the actual sim. Of course, we've got on here the floats, the expandable floats at the side there. And inside we have a regular passenger configuration, which we'll just change now as we go back inside the cockpit. So let me quickly do that for you. Okay, so we'll go to the weight system, which is how they still do this. I'd love a tablet. This is annoying, but this is what we've got. So for the HEMS version, we'll do that. Now I'll open these doors for you so you can see. So we have our 2 flight crew in here. We have a patient on this bench area here. Quite a decent space available on this one. The pilot themselves is actually cordoned off in a small space here with a little perspex divider there in that central wall. So you've got access to the seat from the rear if you needed to. And you have a patient kind of side screen there just blocking that area off and keeping them separate. Quite practical actually. And if you don't want the passenger in there, you can just click them. Just like you can click the medics if you really wanted to have this open. Obviously to click them back on again you'd have to click. That's the door. I'm not sure because I can click here for them, but I'm not sure where I click for the medics. So we'll leave Sally off there for the time being, and otherwise it is largely just a simple interior. So if we want to get rid of that, we'll do that just for this test. In fact, we'll get rid of the floats as well. We're going to give it a bit of a beating. There we go. Now that's interesting that I've not got that version now. Ah, there we go. Reset by adding an extra 0 and it's back in. So floats, doors, various things, sling, gear. We'll put that on here. And we have the spotlight. We'll put the camera on. Why not? If we go outside. A little glass flickering here on the front. That's quite weird. But there's our spotlight. There's our sling gear under there. There's the bare paws you can put on the back of the actual skids. It's the one thing that's quite distinct about this aircraft is that almost spade-like skid where the front of the nose of the skid is part of the strut. Efficient, obviously, but looks weird. And there's the Cineflex camera on the nose. Cool. And it seems to be weird, so we'll be back in a second. Okay, so we're here in the cockpit here of H130. Now, starting this aircraft up, of course, we're going to run through our checks. Seatbelts and control pedals, they're all fine. Seats fine. Rotor brake is full forward and released. It is here. That's back. That is released forward. Fuel valve is forward and released. Okay. Engine starting selector is to off. That is right here, right now. Speaking of which, we have GTN options, which we can go down there. We've got TDS and we've got the PMS options for us. We'll leave it in this right now. Panel options allow us to basically have downwash and rotor effects on off. Panel options there. So full steam. G3, X, which is of course the new one, and some backup steam, and we have no steam at all. I'm going to run with the backup steam. So engine starter there off. Twist grip is in idle. It is in fact in idle. Battery to on. Okay, battery is on. Instrument light system is day, night off. Okay. Good, we're there. And horn ICS is off. That is off down there. Avionics 2 on. Okay, they're on. Light test, we're fine with that. Servo test, servo light on, which will be up here. Okay. Okay, tests are all good. Control pedals, free travel and neutral. They are free traveling and neutral. Cyclic pitch. Okay, and we have free motion on all of our controls. Heating DCS is off. That is off now, so we're good there. We'll go to engine starting. Fuel pump 2 on. Anti collision is on already. Engine starting selector 2 on. Check our engine parameters. Horn ICS to on. Engine spooling. Okay, everything's coming up nicely. Cycle up to flight status on our throttle. That's on. That'll come off again. Generator's on. Everything's coming up right. Fuel pump 2 off. It's now pulling automatically. So that's our flight checks for engine starting is done. Doors, landing lights are good. Okay, we are complete on checklists. Let's go fly a helicopter, shall we? So exterior sounds are good. I do like how this one sounds, but it's pretty standard, to be honest. Head engaged. I don't like the visibility compared to the 125, sorry, but it's not terrible. There we go. Bring around to the side here. We shall depart now. From the Rega base here, the rescue base here at Interlaken, Switzerland. And we're going to take a trip up towards Sphinx Observatory, test this thing at altitude, and get some pretty views along the way. Telegraph lines there, keep an eye on. So flight handling is pretty good. She's a little bit more kind of willing to kind of roll, I think, than the 125 is. We'll really check out that aspect of its flight later on. Of course, we can eject the doors by clicking there and just take those off completely and have complete visibility. We can put those back by clicking show door. Audio change with the little door side panels. Now, we're flying up here right now. Let me just quickly grab. I should have really looked this up beforehand, but I'm a bit of a pest when it comes to this kind of thing. I always think about what I want to talk about right as I've just done it, so you'll give me a second whilst I quickly scroll through this. Schweiss. There we go, Interlaken. So we're heading up to one of those picturesque valleys in Switzerland. And towards the town of Lauterbrunnen, I believe it is. It's very iconic when you see it. You'll recognise it immediately when you come around the corner. But Gunlichwald is to the left up here. And Eisenfleur is up above us on the right. And Wengen up there, just above us here. So that should be nice and easy. We'll be heading up towards the mountains above us here in a second. Head switched on. Grundischwald down there. Villages up on the mountainside are so stunning. But this you'll recognise as we come around the corner here. So rotor trim is pretty heavily needed in this one. It's definitely kind of pulling a lot more on me than the less powerful 125. Here we are. Recognise this? You should. It's pretty iconic photograph actually of Switzerland. Town down there. And the almost sheer cliffs to our right and left. Right, let's go climbing, shall we? Let's see how this thing really handles. And we'll do some stops along the way. The cog railways winding their way up here, in fact. Let's monitor my power a little bit more. Definitely got a lot of climb to her, unlike the 125. A very manageable aircraft. Let's trim some more out of the rotors here, get it to behave itself a bit more. In terms of landing ability, we're just going to do a little quick slope kind of position hold test in a second up here. In fact, we'll be coming up over the railway now, so we'll just use this grade above us as a good spot for a quick test. Okay, here we are. Okay, steady on. Steady on. Now this is the sort of grade where I'm not going to be touching down. I'll tell you that now for free. In fact, this might actually be a bit too steep even to do this, as I'm trying to just rotor trim my way to safety here. Okay, that's more manageable. A lot of input in here. Okay, right, I'll bring her down gently. We'll just go up here actually slightly to the top. It's not quite as steep there. It'll be more manageable for me to touch the nose of the skids to the hillside. Right, slow down, stop drifting. I'm trying to be very light about this. I don't want to dunk the back of my skids in here. I just want to try and touch the front. No, I'm not quite good enough for this thing yet, and it's a little bit hefty on the trim. So it's biting at me a little bit more than I'd like. I've always found that to be one of the most difficult things. You don't get the effect in Flight Sim, I think. It's one of the biggest parts of this. Look at this view. Just look at this view up here. The funicular, oh, not funicular, so the clog railway there. Look at the mountains around us here. Gorgeous. I came up here with a 125, but you don't get the ground effect as much. That cushion, almost, that kind of gives you so much more squish when it comes to being really close to the ground in a helicopter. You just do not get in this sim. So, literally just settling the nose of the skids down is much, much more doable in a real helicopter than it is in the sim. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Love it. So yeah, overall, lateral trim isn't too bad. It's definitely the nose trim that I'm finding a little bit heavier than perhaps I'm used to. I've got a lot of hours in the 125. Surprisingly a lot of hours, actually, now. I've grown to really love that aircraft. This is the Sphinx Observatory up there we're heading towards right now. So I'm going to puzz into a serious climb. And you'll see just how high up this is. We'll see what her high altitude hover's like in a sim. I have noticed you can really hover at almost any altitude you can get to in Flight Sim. Slightly less realistic. Because we should cap out. Yes, we're passing through 9,000 right now. And still going, and that's still up there. There we go. Of course, this is the Sphinx Observatory and Astronomical Observatory above the Jungfrau Joch? Jungfrau Joch? Yeah, I'm mispronouncing that horribly in Switzerland. Named after the Sphinx, which is a rocky summit which it's located on. 3,500 meters up, 11,700 feet, which is about our hover altitude here. But, the view and deck available to the public. How do you access it? Railways and elevators and cable cars, basically, to get up here. And a lot of access up within the rock itself down here. Yeah, there she is. Let's take a closer look. Come on. Well, I'd like some right talk. It's not impressed with me right now. I'm being a little bit overzealous on the controls. Oh, a little too close, a little too close, a little too close. Back off, back off, back off. Yeah, I'm trying to fly this thing like the 125, and it's close, but it's not. Is that easy to explain to you? Like, it feels like I'm flying the 125, but it's the 125 on steroids. Which arguably it is. It's an evolution of, to an extent. But it's not behaving quite the way I'm expecting it to under certain circumstances. Right, let's go back down, shall we? We're absolutely about to overspeed, and I'm living for that. Doing this on purpose. Oh, we're going way too fast, and I'm okay with that. Oh, we're overspeeding a helicopter now. Oh dear, let's try and pull the nose up here, shall we? Kill some of this speed that we've just been using to rocket back from orbit. Feel like the test pilot's in Starliner right now. This thing is not behaving nicely at overspeed, which is fair enough. This is a test. I'm overspeeding on purpose to test it. It is almost uncontrollable. I lose all pitch control, and I'm collective all the way down right now, and this thing is just going. We've got so much energy left here. So much energy to play with. Okay, little collective there, change some blade angle, get some bite to work with. You know, my microphone's actually getting right in the way of my view of this instrument panel right now, which is kind of annoying. Go, we'll behave ourselves now. Let's put some trim in here. Things are a bit more well behaved. Okay. We're below VNE now. The helicopter hasn't ripped itself apart. And we're on a fast track back to Interlaken over here. High-speed performance is very, very sketchy because we're giving this a bit of everything. But I am right now going to pop these doors off. Or open, depending on the door. Just for that, this is how helicopters should be flown. No doors. Everyone can get in and out really quickly and easily. Sport mode, let's call it. Call it sport mode. What sport you're doing is entirely up to you. But the visibility improvement I always find huge in helicopters, which is often why they take the doors off for crew. You can see so much more. And in the sim world, it's such a beautiful view. Okay, Interlaken ahead of us there. We'll do a couple of precision landings, and we'll head back to the airport and land back at the Rega pads. Still a little excessively speeded, but not terribly bad right now. So we'll land at a couple of intersections in the town itself, and then we'll head back to the airport. Yeah, I definitely find there's a lot of sensitivity change and a lot of pitch change in the blades when I'm getting lower on the cyclic here. It's a little bit less stable in the hover than I find the 125 to be, including version 1.2, which I found more stable than the original version. This one is definitely a bit sketchier, but not implausible. I mean, they're similar size, similar engine in both the aircraft, so... But we'll just mess around at Jungfrau Land over there. Okay, there we go. Little nose down trim. Oh, this is what I meant to do, isn't it? I meant to try to test its aerobatic abilities. Let's do that first, shall we? Yep, manages that just about fine. I know both of them struggle with the loop, so we'll get some altitude and we'll try that. Let's build some airspeed here. It's very much a tuck and roll that you have to hope you stay in the air from. Yep, it does it just about. It's not pretty, but it works. Right, intersection down there on the approach to Interlaken Ost. Oh, there's a helipad there. We'll just use that. I'm not sure what that is, but it's also fairly confined. So I'm down for that. Trees to that side, buildings to that side. That's unpleasant. Okay, this works. Alright, let's kill this forward speed. We'll work out what we're doing next. Ugh. I apologize for giving you seasickness. There we go. Right, I think my best approach to this is from the other side of the facility. So we'll go over, we'll turn around, and we'll drop it in. This is what you call a confined area landing. Okay. So buildings right and left of me. Why am I doing this on recording? This is just asking for bloody trouble. Lower visibility out the nose is much more restricted, I think, than the 120. That's a building over there. I was getting too close and I was wobbling on my approach, so we'll get out of this and we'll do it again. Well, the cine camera is obviously not helping, but not as much as you'd think. Okay. This is where I'd need an actual crew member telling me what I'm clear of. Okay. We're on course. We're on course. We're on course. Nice. Okay, so once you really get the handle of it, she's pretty smooth. So we're climbing out, 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 clearing the trees, and we'll proceed forwards. Nicely done. And we'll head back to our landing. So she's definitely manageable. She's very interesting, that's for sure. Here's the theme park at the old airport here at Interlaken. This is stock scenery for the area, by the way. I haven't actually added anything to this. I think, no, I actually did add, but this is already here. Yeah, the Young Flower Park. Right, land back at Rega and we'll call this a day. My helicopter flying certainly improved. I like this. I think Cowansim have done a really good job with it. I wasn't a fan of the Robinsons, just out of personal preference. And I don't like the bells, but that's just, again, personal preference. Their aircraft have all been high quality, and this one's incorporated all of the things they've learned and improved from their version 2s in most of their other aircraft into this initial version here. There we go. No one will be having a particularly nice flight with me, I guarantee that. That's a fence. No. Stop there. Slow down. Slow down and do this properly. Stop hot dogging, or you'll become a hot dog. There we go. And shut down, of course, nice and simple. Start off, fuel valve off. Systems off. And the aircraft has spin down. Is it worth the price, which is a whopping $29.99? Yeah, absolutely. If you like helicopters, it's absolutely worth the price. Would I recommend it? Yes, it's different, it's fun, it flies well, and with some practice, you'll definitely be doing fun things. Thanks for watching. Bye.